My name is Richard O Menchaca, and this is Una Plática.
Una Plática.
Una Plática.
Es Una Plática.
Say Plática.
Una Plática. Una Plática.
That's a long story. My father was an artist, a self-taught artist. So when I was about 4 years old, I used to watch him draw and paint, and I got interested in it, and I decided that's what I wanted to do. So my main inspiration has been my father, and then my mother, who pushed me along also. It's when she found out that, hey, I had a talent for drawing. I started creating my art when I was like 4 years old. Before I even started school, I went to Sacred Heart School Elementary. That was in the West Side. It was a Catholic school, and I only spoke Spanish. I didn't know how to speak English, but the nuns drilled it into me. So in first grade, I learned how to speak English. So I started communicating with my parents in English, and they would talk to me in Spanish. With my aunts and uncles, I speak to them in English, and they speak to me in Spanish. So I grew up kind of speaking Tex-Mex. But the nuns themselves noticed that I had a talent for drawing, so they pushed it. They inspired me. They told me, hey, keep it up, practice, along with my father. And my father would give me lessons. So from first through 8th grade, through junior high, I was drawing every day. Lessons my father would give me, I was drawing in pencil, pen and ink, watercolor, and he taught me about the basics. He taught me about proportion, about perspective, light and shadow, and everything else, human physiology, the muscles, skeletons. And I don't think I could have learned that anywhere else, but they weren't teaching anything like that in school. So that's what, and I enjoyed it. I like to do it. I like to show my dad, hey, this is what I did. This is what I did during the day while you're working. And he would go over my artwork, and he'd tell me what was good, what was bad, what I did wrong, and then go back, do it again, and fix it. So that was great. I loved it. I do art because I enjoy it. I don't know why. It's hard work. It's not easy. It's not easy for me. But when I was going to school, when I was in high school, and this was back in late 60s, early 70s, I wanted to learn. I wanted to go to college and see what art classes were like, because I didn't take any in high school. So I went to SAC, I enrolled in SAC, and the only courses they had geared towards art at the time was if you're going to be an art teacher, or if you're going to be a hand letterer or sign painter. And I wasn't interested in that. I wanted to draw like for an ad agency and stuff, but there weren't any inroads into that. And so I spent 2 years at SAC. I got out before I got my degree, and at the time, it was 1972 and 73, Southwest Research Institute was looking for an artist, no experience required. And so I went to go apply for that. I was 20 years old. I could draw anything, but and I was versed in different medias. At the time, there's no computers, no internet, nothing like it is today. At times at home, we didn't even have a phone. So when I went to the interview, I took a portfolio that I'd done at SAC and my own private work, And they said, hey, look, we just need, because they were basically a drafting shop, but they're getting into illustrating books that they were printing for the scientists in the institute. So they looked at my portfolio and said, hey, we will teach you everything you need to know about the business. All we're interested is in your talent. So I quit going to school and I started there. And the first thing they did was put me in the print shop. It was a real print shop. It was had printing presses. They had a bindery. They had a photo lab. So before I even started any drawing or anything, I spent 6 months in the bindery, 6 months in a photo lab, and 6 months in the print shop, learning how to make plates, learning how the presses worked. And that was, to me, I learned a lot more about the business, the graphics business, than I would have at SAC at the time. Now it's changed. SAC has programs geared for graphic designers, not so much towards illustrators, but graphic designers. But of course, all that involves computers and computer graphics software. Nothing is done on the table anymore. When I started, there wasn't any of that. I had to learn how to do everything on the table. So if I was going to do a cover for a proposal or report, I would do it from scratch. Start drawing it, get an idea, get the concept, get an idea, and make 5 or 6 comps to show to the customer. So when the customer came in, he had or she had 5 different covers to look at. Of course, that took about a month. That was about a month's work, which nowadays, basically maybe 2 days work at the most. Depends how much effort you put into it. It's so different now. Now it's completely different, and I like it. But most people working in the business today have no clue of what it's like before 1985. 1985, computers came in, and if you wanted to keep on with your job, you had to learn computer software. You had to know what computers were, what they did, and how you could draw and design with them. And at first, I was opposed to it because I didn't think a computer could do what I could do on the table. But after a year of watching what other artists were doing with them, I said, I have to learn this, or I'm going to be left behind. I'm going to be left in the dust. So I picked it up with a passion. And you know the software. There's all kinds of software, starting with Adobe Photoshop. There's Adobe AI, Corel Draw. There's tons of it. But the thing is, you have to learn how to use it. And like nowadays, I've been at the Institute now I started in 2024. And 2004. And this year, it's going to be going on 26 years, but I'm going to retire in December. So everything I do now for work, and I've got some samples in there, is done on a computer, basically, especially with the advent of AI. Okay, that's changed the world, the graphics world, completely. I think it's important to have organizations like this because it opens avenues for a lot of people, especially young artists that are just starting out, that don't have a mentor, or it's not taught at school, or they don't have anyone to ask questions about. And I think places like this is a road, it's a way in for people to learn, people to get interested, or to guide young people along the way. Or even like me, there for a while in the 80s and 90s, I started hitting different art galleries and stuff. I want to get into the the local art world here, and I thought I could sell my paintings and stuff, but it's very hard. You have to know the right people. They have, I don't know if it's about liking your art or usually dealers have a special message they want to convey to whoever's going to buy their paintings. And like me, I like to paint what I like. I don't like to, I work on commissions. I'll do what a customer wants. I'll do the best I can. But when I get enjoyment out of art, it's when I do it, when I want it. So there's stuff that I won't draw and paint. I won't, San Antonio, you want to sell a painting, do blue bonnets and everybody buy your painting. I hate blue bonnets. Not that they're not nice or anything. I just don't enjoy doing that. That's not, I'm just not into that. So I got disheartened when I kept getting turned down and stuff. And so I think the last art show was about 2002. I had lost my job, and a good friend of mine asked me to participate in the show. His name was Joe Lopez, and he said, "Hey, bring your paintings, and we'll see if we can sell them." And I needed to sell some paintings because I wasn't working, and I was trying to get another job. So I think that was one of the last art shows that I had a painting on. So I got disillusioned after that. I sold paintings. I got disillusioned. I said, you know what? I'm just going to stick to work, working as a graphic designer, working for a company. So I got hired again by the Institute, and because this was a space division, and they needed an artist real bad. So I started again the Institute. And I started doing work for them, and I work for them now. I'm still working for them now. I really enjoy it. I work for the space division. So my artwork, which is done with Photoshop or CorelDRAW or AI or Adobe Illustrator, it's about space. I do all types of space scenes and stuff, satellites, rockets, design logos for NASA missions and stuff. I really enjoy it, but I had stayed away from painting, doing any kind of painting. And when COVID hit, I was at home, and I was between work, and I said, why don't I start painting again? Start painting, start creating stuff for me. By this time, it's like, what, 2020? So, till now, it's 2025. So I got the fire in me. It kind of like woke up again. I said, hey, I'm going to start drawing. And so I looked around where I could show my work, and this was one of the places where they have art shows throughout the year. So I wasn't aware of Centro Cultura Aztlán at all. I just came across it on the internet. And I said, hey, well, I said, I've got nothing to lose. Let me see if they'll accept some of my artwork. And they did. And so I got inspired again to start drawing and painting for me and to get more into the art world. And slowly, I don't know, I'll be 72 and I say, hey, I'm going to do something. I'm going to start doing it now. So yeah, this place is important. In fact, I'm in the boxing show that they're having in April. I've got 2 paintings here. So I hope they like them. I hope people see my work. And, as an artist, you want people to say, hey, you did a good job. I like your stuff. Artists love to hear that. Of course, we get critiqued all the time. So you have to have tough skin. I enjoy getting critiqued and stuff. Hey, I take it with a grain of salt because not everybody likes your artwork. People like your work, a lot don't, and a lot will come and tell you, hey, you should have done this, you should have done this different, but it doesn't matter. It's what I like. So I just know that I try to put across a good product that other people might like. So I'm into it again. Well, if you're going to become a professional artist, you better have a side job. Because your art, you can't live on your art. I'd say 100% of artists who are good artists and they draw and paint and know their stuff, I think maybe about 5% of those, their stuff, they could make a career out of it. It's very few. And I don't know, it may be harder to become an artist than to having a regular job. I think a regular job, if you're experienced and you know what you're doing, you know how to draw and paint, you know software, you know all that stuff, it's very easy to get a job. As opposed to an artist who's trying to live off their artwork. I think it's very difficult. And my advice to upcoming artists is, or besides having their own job, they can find a mentor or a patron who believes in them and will help them out as far as letting the world see their art or where they create. They have to have somebody that believes in that. It's very hard to do it on your own. You have a lucky few, like Jesse Trevino. He went to Tech. He went to Vietnam. He got his hand blown off. He had to learn how to draw and paint with his other hand, which is very difficult. But it wasn't just him. He had a lot of people behind him that helped him and pushed him. Besides being a great artist, he was a great artist. He had a lot of people behind him, and you got to have that luck. You got to have somebody comes across and say, "Hey, I like your artwork. Let's sell it. Let's go." And I don't know, I don't think that's a bad thing if an artist wants to make money off their artwork. They want to talk about the starving artist that, "Hey, I do this. I live for my art and stuff." Yeah, but that's good, but you have to survive. You have to live. You have to support a family. You have to raise your kids. You have to send them through college and stuff. And most people aren't going to do that with just their artwork alone. You have to have a good paying job. This is a painting that I did of La Sirena. I call it La Sirena. And the reason I did it because we play a lot of Mexican bingo, and I always look at the cards and I see the different illustrations, the paintings, El Valiente, La Dama, all those. I mean, I've been playing that since I was a little kid. But I looked at La Sirena and I said, let me make something better. I wanted it to look a little bit better than La Sirena, the cards. So I sketched La Sirena in pencil first, and once I had her the way I wanted, then I scanned it. I put it on the scanner. I scanned the pencil drawing. I brought it into Adobe Photoshop, and I set my page size and stuff. And well, I take that back. I took the scan into Corel Draw, and I created the contour lines in Corel Draw. I made them black contour lines. Turned that into a JPEG. Brought that JPEG into Photoshop, and once the JPEG, the black and white JPEG is in Photoshop, well, then I start the painting process. And I start painting, I use different brushes, different colors, different combinations, different filters to get it a look. And I want it to look serene, and she's like just floating through the water, slowly floating to the water, and she's in charge of her environment. You can tell, and this is called tradigital. It's for traditional art and digital art. It's a combination. When you're painting, as opposed to painting it with using painter's media on canvas or illustration board, is you're unlimited. Your colors are unlimited. So you can you can create different backgrounds, different colors, and you can look at them and see how it goes with the figure, and then combine them with the figure so that it's part of it. And if you don't like it, delete it, start all over again. Boom. And as opposed to a painting where you would have to just like paint over stuff if you're not satisfied with your first version. But this is a 11 by 17 print of the original painting, which is 24 inches by 36 inches, printed on canvas and framed. As a kid, I grew up with comic books, and I was very interested. I would wait every month. I would go to the store, the corner grocery store, and see if the comic books had come in because I loved them. I love the Marvel comics, like Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, the Avengers. I grew up with them. And in the comic books, I had my favorite artists. And as a kid, I always wanted to be, hey, when I get older, when I grow up, I'm going to work for the comic books. Of course, it never happened. But I practiced a lot. I would draw them. And I drew them so much that I could draw them without even looking at a model or anything. I just drew them from scratch. So as my son grew up, he got interested in comic books, but he was interested in superheroes. So he would say, "Hey, Dad, what if Superman fights Thor? Who would win and stuff?" So I did this drawing for him, and I drew it in pencil. I drew Superman in. Once the pencil drawing was done, I drew him in pen and ink on paper. And then I scanned them both and I put them in Photoshop. I painted Superman in Photoshop and I created the background in Photoshop for them. So that's Superman and Thor getting ready to go to battle. And I'm a big Marvel fan, so I would put my money on Thor. Most people put their money on Superman. But yeah, that's I still collect comics to this day. One of these days, I'm going to sell my collection. Maybe when I retire. Okay, this is a painting I did. I'm a history buff, especially Mexican history, and Texas history also. World history third. But my grandparents on my mother's side came from Mexico during the Mexican Revolutionary War. At the time, I can't remember who was president at the time. He opened the border and let the people pass if they wanted to escape the revolution. Okay, my grandmother and her siblings and her parents came across in a covered wagon. It was like around 1910, and I learned a lot from my grandmother. She raised me also, and she would tell me about the scenes that she saw in Mexico. About the war, the revolution, the shootings, and the killing. And one time I heard Nat King Cole singing a song called Adelita, and he sang it in Spanish. And I knew the words, and I asked my grandmother what an Adelita was. And she said that an Adelita was a woman who went with her man into war. And so I just said, make a painting. And this is an Adelita. I use my wife's face for her face. So the painting is 2 feet by 3 feet and is printed on canvas. And this is a print I made of it.